Lucinda Shore.
Just remember light, Lucinda.
Lucinda.
Light.
Lucinda. I have to like repeat it several times.
No, I'm the worst.
I think there was a character on that horrible soap opera.
There was.
And then there's the country singer, Lucinda Williams,
Okay.
who sings, if you've never heard it, one of her songs is really pretty, and it's about soft kisses. It's a good one. I'm not a big country singer person, but because she had mine, I'm going to listen to the album. That's nice.
All right. Well, Lucinda, would you mind telling us a little bit about your background?
Sure. What area? I have lots.
All of them.
I have way too much to talk about.
Maybe just.
The highlights of all of your phases.
Oh gosh. Okay, so I'm on my third life already in this lifetime. My first life, I went to school for interior design. So I did the interiors of restaurants, hotels, and the like, so the hospitality industry. And then I went into, became a multi-line sales rep, worked my way up to the VP of a carpet company, got divorced. I was married during that time, renovated my first house, did all kinds of stuff in that
How
first
long were you
life.
married in the first life?
We were together for 13 years, but we were married for 5 of those 13.
And how
But
did
I
you
was
meet?
literally, I met him when I was in high school, started dating him when I was in Miami doing modeling, and I couldn't get rid of him. So I just decided, why not? And that didn't work out too well. He was my best friend, but I was never in love with him. And he knew that, so I'm not telling you anything that cannot be repeated.
Are
Why
you
did-
still friends with him?
Yeah.
Why did you marry him?
Because he was my best friend, and I thought, when I'm 70, is it gonna matter whether we have a lot of passion? And I didn't think it was gonna matter. And I thought, this could be a good long-term strategy.
Now, how old were you when
This
you
is
married
before
him?
I met my spiritual maker.
How old were you when you married him?
I was 27 or 28, and I know I was divorced in 2003 because I have papers to prove that. Everything else is just kind of vague.
Okay.
That was a long time ago.
Okay. So
So I'm
that's
telling you my age.
That's life one.
That's first life.
First life. First life.
Second life, I decided I wanted to do everything. I wasn't going to do anything that didn't make me happy. The first life, I kicked butt financially, and I worked my way up to the VP level in my 20s. And I had the huge $1 million house and the 3 cars and the life that the media tells us we should have. Well, it wasn't all it was cracked up to be. So I decided I wasn't going to do anything that didn't fill my heart up with complete and utter joy. And at the time I was dating a billionaire, so I thought I would never have to work again. So it was logical for me to just do my passionate stuff. So I decided to start my first charity, and I started an organization called Safe Haven for Pets. And my family and other people that were in my life didn't really want me to just help animals. They felt that people had more value. But in my second life, I didn't agree with that. I thought animals were the only thing that I'd ever given to that gave back more to me than I'd ever given to them, and I wanted to honor them. So I spent 7 years doing that. And then...
What did your old husband do for the?
I left him in the
In the
first
second
life.
life, what did the
I wasn't
billionaire
married.
do?
Oh, he was a trial attorney.
Okay.
So the tobacco industry, he
Okay.
won those trials. And I'm convinced he was my soulmate. He is now in heaven. So that was...
Were you with him when he passed? Or were you already finished?
So we
by
had
then?
already stopped. Yeah, that's a whole nother series on how that whole thing ended. But yeah, so that was, I was completely madly and delusionally in love with this man, would be the best way to put it. I never worried, fretted. I was convinced he was my soulmate and that he would always come back to me. I don't know if you've ever been around a woman or a man that's that confident and patient and loving, but he brought that out in me. No one else in the world have I ever had that kind of relationship with. I like to control things, so you haven't noticed. But so the second life, I did all the charity work, and then my family, they were very concerned because I left making 6 figures to now spending 6 figures trying to create and manifest this organization. When the relationship ended with the billionaire, I thought, why do I have to be with somebody with money to do what I really want to do? Well, the recession hit and reality set in, and it was tough, very difficult. And so I went and started working for the nonprofit sector. I helped with multiple different charities here in town. Everyone from the Atlanta Humane Society to help build the Mansell location up off of 400. Pine Mountain, what is the name of the charity that's up there that has all the gardens? Callaway Gardens. I worked with Callaway Gardens on a huge music festival, just to kind of name a few. And then I went into medical sales. And now I'm on my third life. In this one, I got hit by a car. So it was divine. It was not my own choosing this time. I thought 2 would have been sufficient, but I'm on a third. And this one literally knocked me out. So I went from riding my bicycle 50 to 100 miles on the weekend to running charities to being a medical salesperson to my life coming to a complete halt and having to stop and meditate and sit still for 2 months and do absolutely and completely nothing.
While your body healed?
Yeah, because my brain needed to heal.
Let's describe the accident, how that happened.
Okay, I'll try to be nice. A gentleman was on his phone using his GPS, not paying attention, and slammed right into me, ran a red light. He was going 45, I was going 45, so it was a 90-mile-an-hour collision. I'm lucky to be here. I really shouldn't be here, and this is the second time I've had a near-death exchange.
Did you see the light?
No, but I had my speech prepared for God.
Okay. You knew it was.
I was like, I'm done. I might as well surrender because I get to go with the angels, and this is going to be really awesome.
Yeah.
And then I felt grass under my feet, and I was like, shit, they sent me back again. Why do they keep doing that?
When did the first one happen?
The first one happened in 2007, and my dog actually woke me up. And that time I did go to the light, and they did speak to me.
And what caused it?
I fell in my bathroom. So my bathroom was probably 3 times the size of this room, and I was on one end of it. And when I fell backwards, I literally went all the way across the room to the other side, and my dog brought me back. I really didn't want to come back, if I can be completely honest, but they sent me back. And what they told me was that I had to become more emotionally stronger, that I was going to experience every person that I loved was going to die before me, and that if I was going to be able to make this journey work, I was going to have to be able to handle that.
Prior to that, why didn't you want to come back?
Have you ever been to the light? It's so angelic and it's so peaceful, and you feel nothing, or at least my experience was complete joy and love. You felt no anger, no resentment, no judgment, no prejudice, nothing. I mean, it was literally like this huge ball of peace and love. And I meditate a lot, so I get glimpses of that on a daily basis. But if I had to choose...
Could you define this light thing for me a little bit more? The experience, what it's like?
So if you were to literally look directly into a light bulb, and you were to see all the white that's in that light, it almost knocks out your vision so that you can't see anything else around you. You know, like when you're in a dark room and somebody flashes a light in your face, and then it's like you're blind for a couple of minutes. That's basically how I felt. And in that light, it was as if I was in the most warm cocoon, just like almost like maybe what the experience would be like, maybe being in the womb, that you feel protected, nourished, everything that you need is provided for you. You need and want for nothing.
Now this light is appearing to you on a daily basis now?
So when I meditate, I can go to the light, and it usually starts with a speck, and I focus on that light, and then I drop into the light. And then I'll go through the light for a minute, and then I don't know if we want this on camera or not, but I do like transit. I go other places and do other things and experience angels and other dimensions and a lot of really weird stuff that people on TV might not be okay with.
How do you draw balance between you experiencing the light and the realities?
That is a very good question, and that's why I'm on my third life. because in the second life, when I did all the charity work, that was during that time period where I was completely spiritual and almost enlightened to some degree. I trained with a monk for 2 years, and literally it was very, very difficult for me to transition between the spiritual realms and then coming back to the earthly realms of materialism and living in this
What
life.
do your family and friends think about your life experiences?
So I asked my mother when I was in the thick of the Enlightenment era why she didn't put me in a straitjacket and send me like to the mental ward. And she basically said that when I would be meditating, she would come into my room to ask me a question, and I would just hold my hand up and I would answer all 5 of her questions, then ask her not to interrupt me in my meditations again. So my mother basically is very new age. She's a psychologist, she's a pioneer. She's just an amazing woman. I'm very grateful to have a mom that's supportive. She went along with it, and she felt blessed to have a daughter that was willing to embrace these gifts. And so the transition occurred when my monk asked me to join their effort for world peace. And I decided I couldn't give up sex and alcohol. Those were 2 requirements, and I am human. And I was like, I don't think I can do that yet.
I couldn't give that up.
I was like, oh, I did it for like a year, and I was like, oh my God, it was horrible. And even my monk was like, you know, Cinda, I completely understand. He says, have you ever noticed that I'm never alone with you in the room? And I was like, yeah, but I thought no monk was allowed to be with anybody from the opposite sex. And he said, no. He said, I've taken a vow of celibacy for over 20 years. I've never been tempted. And he said, you exude so much sexuality. He said, it is just, he said, I just don't trust myself. I have to have someone else in the room with me when we're meditating together. And he said, and I'm not telling that to scare you, but he said, I'm just being honest about your personality. And we all have an energy that we give off. And that's one of the ones I'm not willing to give up. Am I answering your questions? Or I feel like I'm just ranting.
No, you are. You're answering the question.
Pardon?
The monk never gave in, right?
No.
Okay.
And after that, I think our relationship sort of shifted a bit. He gave me a gift, and he said that when I got married, that he would expect that gift back. And he also said, I can't believe I'm saying this on camera because I sound like such a hooty bird, but it's all good. He said, you have the capacity to become the next Bill Gates. He said, you can do it and you will. He said, you've been given all the gifts.
Is that a desire?
Yeah, I want to change the world. So I'm on the mission, I'm on the path, and I've already done a couple of really amazing things in the last couple months. So this last concussion.
So it's not a wealth thing?
Oh, no.
Okay.
No, it's a giving back to the community.
Giving back, okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Definitely.
Okay.
And having the freedom. And that's one of the things that the monk helped me with, because before I had a little bit of a limited belief system when it came to money, because my family has fought so much over money. I've watched it destroy relationships. And to me, when I was little, I thought money was the most evil thing on the planet.
Okay.
And my monk really worked with me for 2 years to explain to me that money gives us freedom. It gives us a way to exuberate our power and to make things happen. And without that, it's very difficult to make a movement if you don't have the financial backings to make great things happen. So there is the third dimension, the third phase of where I am now. So in the third,
that's where you
I
are
have
now.
Yes, I have the spiritual and I have the business mind. And I'm simultaneously doing some magical things. So I just finished my first book. I'm getting the chills just even talking about it. And it's a game changer. And it's for children, because I believe that they're the most purest. I love children and animals because they always see my light. They never question it. It's only when I get around people that are too much into the thick of the materialism and all the other things that are, they're illusions, but when they're in that illusion space, they don't necessarily see the light.
What's going on with relationships right now in phase 3?
And do you have kids?
I'm on cortisone, so I'm horny as hell and I haven't had sex in 7 months. How about that?
I haven't in 7 hours, so I know I can relate.
No, I have a dog.
Okay.
And this is a package deal. Anything you do with me, you're doing with my dog.
Is he big? You said a
He's gonna be-
Newfoundland. Aren't they like this
What kind of
big?
dog is
Oh my God. Okay, so Newfoundlands they're rescue dogs. You see them jumping out of helicopters, rescuing people from cold element waters that would give us hypothermia.
But he's a puppy, you said.
Oh yeah, but
Like
he
how
thinks
big
he's a
is he
man. He is like 50 pounds,
Okay.
and he is all alpha. I've trained over 100 animals, and it doesn't matter what they are. It doesn't even matter if it's man. I tame them. This one, whew, God's duking me.
So, what do you find to be your greatest challenge at the moment? At this season in your life?
My biggest thing that I need to be doing right now is two things. One is building a team, getting a team of people together and trusting and believing that other people can do their part in the big picture of the things that I'm doing. So I have 3 companies that I'm pushing forward. One is my book that I want to talk with you about as well, Lavon, later. It's a children's book. I want it to become an animated film. And it's about diversity and about saving the planet, the environment. So I feel like that's one of my huge callings, is that if we don't make some changes on how we're disrespecting this planet, there's not going to be a future for y'all's kids. I don't have any, but your babies won't have a future. So I think it's really important that, or at least for me, that I address some of those issues. So that's one avenue. And there's probably like 15 books that can come out of that one. And then the other is I am going to be building a health and wellness facility. So through my concussion, one of the other gifts is that I learned a lot about the medical field, and I happen to have had an accident that makes it so that, you know, medications and therapies really don't heal your brain. It's time and what you eat and what you put in your mind and your thoughts and things. So it's all alternative. And so I want to create a platform here in Atlanta where people can go to a facility and be welcomed with alternative medicine and traditional medicine, and that we all work together as a team to provide the best care that the patient wants, and not pushing our ideas. So if someone comes in with cancer and says they don't want to do chemotherapy, because I think that in the future is going to be like the gas chambers, but from the Hitler era, but that's just my opinion, then they don't have to. And we can take sugar out of their diet and put them on a plan that helps them potentially address their issues. And at least if they only live for 2 or 3 or 5 more years, that they're the best 2 or 3 or 5 years that they can live. That's the second. And then the third is I'm on a venture to do real estate. I want to do, I love this tiny living thing, this new eco-friendly, and using refurbished products and honoring our resources by not living beyond what we need. So the minimalist concept. So I've got all 3 of those. So I need 50 people. I need an army.
Okay, so
To help me make all these things
neither
happen.
of those 3 things are going to get you laid. Agreed?
True, but I could get laid anytime I want to.
Okay.
It's
Do
just
you
a phone
want-
call away.
And I know we're laughing about getting laid, but is a relationship something that's important to you right now?
Yeah, I'd love to have a relationship.
And would that be something that our life coach could possibly work with you on that would be important to you now?
Absolutely, because that's my weak link.
I was
Okay.
just getting ready to ask you, what is your weakest
That is my
link?
weak. My
So your
weakest
weakest link is
is
relationship?
letting someone love me and help
Why?
me and all
Why?
that stuff.
Why?
I would say that goes back to the first part of my life, and just growing up. I had amazing parents, but they were, my mom was a super mom. Super moms don't have a lot of time. I had to schedule time to be with my mom because she was traveling to Panama during the Carter administration, downsizing the canal and handing over the rights to maneuver through the canal back to the Panamanians. So she helped downsize the military. My mom was a rock star. And so I had to learn, when I was 12.
What was your father like?
So my dad, my mom and my parents got divorced when I was 3. And so my dad he just sent money. And I'm just being honest. My stepdad was a genius. He had an IQ of 186. So I had my personal best friend who was an encyclopedia and was socially inept and completely brilliant, which is why I go after the billionaire brilliant men, because that's what I know. But they don't really make really good.
How old was the
partners.
billionaire?
He was older. I have that little daddy complex.
I didn't say that.
I do. I have it.
Okay. Well,
Hey,
you know,
I mean,
delve
I'm
in-
here. I'm not gonna.
I know, and I delve in.
If I'm not
Obviously,
comfortable with who I am,
delve in
I'm
that
not
world.
saying,
That's why I
yeah.
recognize it. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I know my flaws and I love them.
There is no right or wrong here.
Right.
We're just exploring. So, yeah, that's
Yeah.
good stuff.
I'm good.
I'm good.
I'm good.
But I'd like for this next one to be closer to my age and have really good sex. That would be really nice.
I've given up on that.
I'm just saying, maybe that's the cortisone talking.
Yeah.
But
If I could get them out of the 20s, that would be good.
Yeah, I think we talked about it on the phone. I got engaged, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
Date?
yes.
You got a date?
Not a date yet, because
Not a
there's a
date.
lot going on in my family right now.
Okay, say that, say
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
say
yeah.
that, say that.
Yeah.
All right, so Carla, tell us a little bit about yourself, please.
Okay, well, my name is Carla Fisher. I am from Evanston, Illinois. I went to college at Arizona State University with desires and passion to be an actress or to be a broadcaster. But I wound up getting stopped by a top agency, the Ford Robert Black agency in Arizona. And next thing you know, I'm traveling across the country, walking runways for Escada and doing campaigns for Adidas. And so at that point, I wound up leaving college and pursuing a broader modeling career. I went to Chicago, and next thing you know, I get stopped in the store by Mrs. Johnson, who is the former, and rest in peace, Miss Eunice Johnson is the owner and founder of Ebony and Jet magazine. And I was asked to be the commentator for the renowned Ebony Fashion Fair tour. So I toured for a year. And when I say we toured everywhere. We covered the United States, the Virgin Islands, Bahamas, and Canada. So it was like 9 months on the road, which afforded me a great opportunity to feel what it feels like to kind of be in the limelight. I was in the magazines a lot. Of course, I was a commentator, and I worked under Eunice Johnson, so it taught me scrutiny, because when I first started, I was in the newspapers, and a lot of publishers weren't too nice to me when I first started. So I learned what it takes to let things roll off your back, and no matter what anyone says, you just keep working hard and keep going. At that point, I got off tour, and I decided to go in and see Elite, which is a major modeling agency. They have over 50 agencies worldwide. I go into the agency, and I meet, I won't say her name, but she is definitely an iconic agency in the modeling industry. She discovered Cindy Crawford. And she looked at me and she says, you know what, Carla, I know you've done, Escada, you've done some shows, but you're not right for our market. You're too exotic looking. You'll never work here. So you can only imagine my heart just kind of sank, because I'm sitting there going, didn't I just model? Didn't I just work with Eunice Johnson? Didn't I just do a commercial? But she was like, no. So that actually fueled me. Most people, it can kind of tear your spirit down. But I'm a person who embraces obstacles. Like, I love when people tell me no, because I'm going for it. I'm going to keep pursuing it, keep myself motivated, and prove them wrong. But also prove to myself that I can do it. So in turn, 3 years later, I go back to that same agency and I get signed. And next thing you know, I become the top model in Chicago. I wound up working with tons of great people. I did national commercials, national magazines, every catalog you can think of. I wound up signing with Eileen Ford at the Ford Agency in New York and abroad. So I
What
worked.
made the difference the second time around with that agency?
The second time around, I think I was more confident. I think as years went on, I started to believe in myself more. I'm a person who totally believes you gotta believe in yourself. You gotta believe it to receive it. And I think when you're young, you're still trying to figure it out. So at that point, I was like 19 years old, and I was thinking to myself, you know what, there's still a lot of learning to do. But I think as years went on, more experience, I think I gained more confidence. So it made a huge difference. And I think timing is a big thing. Sometimes things don't happen when you want them to happen. They happen right on time. And it was like right on time that I didn't get to see this woman at the agency, but I saw another woman. And ironically, I'm still signed to Elite Model Management down in Miami to this day. So that agency actually opened a lot of doors for me, as well as other iconic agencies I worked for, like Ford, LA Models, Suzanne Johnson's, and it afforded me the opportunity to travel the world, literally. I did my first big collection show in Munich, Germany for Todd Oldham, for Escada. I worked with every designer you could think of: Oscar de la Renta, Michael Kors, Tommy Hilfiger, Gianfranco Ferré, Donna Karan, Bill Blass, the list goes on and on, Carolina Herrera, Joseph Abboud. And that decade plus experience of modeling enabled me to see the world, meet people. I was able to actually get into my passion, which is acting and broadcasting and hosting, because of modeling. So in 2004, after I've done quite a bit of modeling in my time, I wound up going to the Atlanta Falcons here in Atlanta, and I met the entertainment coordinator at a party for the kickoff season. And after 10 minutes of talking to them, they invited me to their offices and offered me literally a job to be their in-stadium reporter to the fans. They had never done it before, so they basically created a position for me. So that was like my first big hosting opportunity. So I wound up being the in-stadium rolling reporter for the Atlanta Falcons at the Georgia Dome in 2004, when Michael Vick was still there before, he got in all that trouble. But we won't talk about him. So at that point, it gave me like that confidence. Like I was like, yes, I can do this. And I remember this moment where I was standing in the
Has
Georgia
that been a
Dome.
struggle for you, confidence?
Growing up, yes. Because
You mentioned that twice now, so.
Yes, confidence is a big deal. And let me just go back. When I was younger, I was teased a lot. I was bullied. I did not think I was attractive. I thought I was ugly, literally. Like, I was called olive oil. I was thin, I was tall, I was skinny. So people used to make fun of me all the time. Like, it stayed with me. Like, when I smiled, I would never show my teeth. So if I laughed or something, I would always do this, because didn't feel good about myself. I looked up to my sister, who is still to this day is my inspiration. And I wanted to be like her. And what's crazy is I just didn't feel good about myself. I thought I was ugly. I mean, literally. I didn't have a boyfriend probably until I was 16. I left high school when I was 16. I was valedictorian, so I was very much into studies. I'm big on education. So I finished with honors within 3 years and went on to college at Arizona State. So no, I did not have great self-esteem. I had very low self-esteem. And to this day, when I speak to young people, I always talk about how important it is to love yourself, to believe in yourself. Don't try to be like anybody else. Be yourself.
Do you believe you conquered that?
Yes, definitely. Now I'm comfortable in my own skin. I mean, you get what you get. I'm not going to try to be someone else. I feel like I don't have to put on airs. I know that I feel like I'm a very good person.
What makes you so sure you have conquered that?
I would say because now things don't affect me like they used to affect me when I was younger. Like, I used to be a people pleaser. So I thought, I have to get this job, or I got to show my family that I can do this. Or it was more about everybody else. Now it's like, forget everybody else. It's about me. It's about me setting goals for myself and showing myself that I can do anything and all things as long as I believe. So I think that now I know it more than ever. And my faith is stronger. Most definitely. So getting back to the Falcons, I wound up leaving and moving. At the time, well, let me go back. During the time I was broadcasting for the Falcons, I was actually married, okay? A lot of people don't know this because I don't really talk about it. But I met my ex-husband on tour with the Ebony Fashion Fair tour, which right before then, I met Nene Leakes, who also was auditioning to be a model back in the 90s. So fast forward, during the Ebony tour, I was on tour and we ran into the tour buses of After 7, R. Kelly, and Portrait. So I wound up marrying Keith Mitchell, who is a member of the R&B sensation After 7, related to Babyface and L.A. Reid. So I spent a lot of my young years in a relationship, even while pursuing and traveling all over the country as a model. So it got pretty interesting. But during the Falcons year, it was very difficult for me. I was actually let me go back. I was actually modeling, still doing runway shows, still doing print ads, broadcasting for the Atlanta Falcons. I was a motivational speaker for Pro Scout, which we toured probably 3 weekends out of every month of the year. I was on a plane. And I was going through a divorce. So there was a lot going on that year, like a lot going on. So I had a lot of pressure on me that year to kind of figure out what I wanted to do. And since I was going through a divorce, I was like, you know what? I'm really gonna pursue this acting and television hosting thing like to the fullest.
Now, do you have kids?
No kids. We never had kids together.
What did your sister say when you brought up Marion the musician?
Well, let's just say she wasn't too excited because I pulled one of those run to the altar kind of weddings, which really disappointed my sister.
Did Lasagna like him?
Sometimes. Sometimes she liked him, sometimes she didn't. But I think my family, he was older than I was, a lot older. And I think because going back to that slight insecurity, having someone older, successful, kind of guide you and lead you in life, it was like so like intriguing to me at the time. But then as I became a woman and grew up and got smart, it was like, this is not working, this is not happening. So, and my sister did try to give me advice, and I think that's why I didn't tell her the day I drove down to Pigeon for her to get married. So she was not a happy camper. She was like, oh, what? What the hell? But I give you one better than that. So how about getting to the divorce part? How about she helped me? It came full circle because she had her opportunity to get me out of the marriage, and it's because of her that I divorced him and he didn't even know it. How about that? He didn't even know it. My sister's so smart, let me just tell you about her. She's an executive. She's been executive for Microsoft, for AT&T, for T-Mobile, and she's now the executive for Cox Communications. So she researched, how do you divorce someone when they refuse to sign a paper to divorce you? So basically my husband wasn't trying to get a divorce, so he kind of like tried to disappear so I wouldn't serve him. But make a long story short, we did it. I divorced him and he didn't even know it. So on New Year's Eve of that year, me and my sister looked at each other and said, you think you should tell him? I was like, yeah, go ahead and call him. So she calls him and says, hey, just want to let you know on the New Year that you're divorced. He was like, what? I didn't sign anything. I was like, no, you can go look it up at the courthouse, but you're single, so you can move on with your life.
So you're sure it's legal, right?
Huh?
You're sure it's legal?
Oh, it's legal. It's so legal. It's so legal. I wouldn't even get into particulars because it's just too good to tell. But let's just say she helped me get the divorce. So I was single. So I moved to LA to start fresh.
You get over the divorce.
Oh, it was let's see, we did it in July. I think I was divorced by November. So
Emotionally.
Oh, emotionally. Oh, it took a while. Emotionally, it took a while because you gotta keep in mind, I was this young 19-year-old teenager with an older man that I spent a decade with. So that in itself, never really having dated or spent my 20s having fun or dating, I never had that experience. I dated in college. I had a high school boyfriend. I had a couple college boyfriends. One played in NFL, one played in the NBA. But I went with Keith and I decided to be in a relationship with him, and then we got married. So it took a long time because being that young and being, I would say, vulnerable in a situation, I had a lot of growing up to do. So to all of a sudden be single on my own in Los Angeles, have a career, and then this person is not around anymore, it was like, what do I do now? Like, I was afraid to date. I didn't trust anybody. I was kind of to myself. I was more driven than ever. So I kind of took that emotional time and I put it into my career. So by the time I got to Los Angeles, within weeks, I had already had an agency. So within weeks, I became a broadcaster for the NBA LA Clippers, where I hosted. They're at the famous Staples Center. And it was the year that the Clippers had went to the playoffs. They hadn't been in the playoffs in 30 years, so maybe I brought them good luck. No, I can't take credit for that. But it was the best because it was like, oh my God, I'm in LA with the Staples Center and I am on the floor. We did a pregame show called Clippers Tonight. At that point, I had done my first guest star on Hannah Montana, so the acting thing was like, yes, I knew I could do this. Once again, going back to believing. I'm a person who, if I could see myself doing it, I'm going for it. I work with Kelsey Grammer on Out of Practice. I work on Nickelodeon. At that point, I had gotten offers to host and broadcast for ESPN. They flew me to Bristol, Connecticut. I also had an offer for Home Shopping Network, in which I took that offer and I became a host for the Home Shopping Network, which is in St. Pete, Florida. So actually I was in LA for like 3 to 4 years, and then all of a sudden, boom, they picked me up, eliminated me. They relocated me to St. Pete, Florida, and there I was,
Good.
living my dream as a host in front of 90+ million viewers. And that experience in itself was, oh my God, it was amazing because it taught me how to ad-lib, improv. You're on television, 90 million plus people, no teleprompter, live television, 6-second delay. You got to know all these products in your head. You do not have time to look at a card and go, oh, Colin Cowley, tell me about this. Or Wolfgang Puck, tell me about the secrets of this. Like, you have to know it. So I had to memorize a lot of information. I was there, I had training for like 3 months, and then I was thrown on air. Like the movie that Jennifer Lawrence was nominated for, Joy. I always say her name wrong. Joy Mangano. That's who the movie is about. And I trained with her. I trained with Colleen Lopez. I worked right under these legends, I call it, broadcasting, and they were just, it was a great experience. So I was there for a year.
Hold on, how did that help you get your most recent film role?
Oh my God, okay, so this is why I always say timing and things happen for a reason. So, and being a host for Home Shopping Network for a year, I wound up leaving, but let me tell you how that experience also blessed me. This past year, I go in to audition for a role for the movie The Boss, starring Melissa McCarthy and her husband Bill Facone, and produced by Will Ferrell. So I get there, I'm looking at the script, like, what role do they want me to play? Believe it or not, it's to play a host of the Home Shopping Network. And they only wanted a person who really was a host on HSN. So where are you going to find a host in Atlanta, Georgia that has hosted on Home Shopping Network? That's like finding a needle in a haystack. But I had the experience. I knew the job, but it was funny. They wanted it to be funny. So when I met Melissa McCarthy on my 3rd call back, I came in and we just had a blast. And I got the role. So the movie The Boss actually comes out April 8th this year. I'm so excited. Cannot wait. It stars Kathy Bates, Kristen Bell. It's like a whole star-studded cast. But I'm in a scene acting opposite her, and we had a blast. So I'm not going to give it away. You have to go see it.
So where are you right now? How would you describe your life, where you are, your season?
Oh my God, my season is great. Okay, so let's just say.
So, go ahead.
Okay, so where am I right now in my life? My life is it's crazy. It's exciting because as an actress, a television host, and still a model, I spontaneously have opportunities that come up all the time. Like today, I had several castings. I have a movie audition when we finish in here. So I'm constantly reading lines, reading scripts. I got engaged. He put a ring on it. I love that song. He did put a ring on it. Mr. Pouncey, my best friend, he's awesome. Really, really great guy. He's not in the business.
How long have y'all dated?
We dated for 2 years. 2.5 years, but we were friends for like 1.5 years prior to that, but we dated 2 years. And he's great. He's my best friend. He's smart. He's great with money. My family loves him this time around. So it's really, really
So
good.
you're deeply in love?
I am. I'm really in love. I am in love. I feel like I finally found the right person. Not to say anything negative about my last relationship, but in my life, I found that I haven't had a lot of relationship experience. So I've had to learn as I go.
So what do you think will be one of your greatest challenges in this relationship?
I think because we're opposites. Okay, because I'm outgoing. I'm a people
Could you repeat the
person.
question I just said?
Okay, that's all right.
That's okay, no problem.
Okay, so the challenges I feel like in this new relationship, well, let me start with the positives. The positive is he's very confident, very secure in his own skin. So I could have 50 men around me and he wouldn't bat an eyelash. He would sit over there and go, girl, do your thing. Well, he wouldn't say that. He would say, no, go ahead. I'll support you. I'll be right over here. So he's not jealous. He's not insecure. I don't have to deal with that stress. He lets me be the crazy person that I am without saying anything. Now, what I think some of the challenges are going to be with me and Mr. Pouncey is the fact that I like to call him Mr. Pouncey because it's kind of an inside joke. He's like Einstein, so we call him Mr. Pouncey. But I think the challenges are going to be we're completely opposites. So here I am in entertainment, which I've been in my entire life. I know nothing else but the business of entertainment. He does not know about the business of entertainment, so this is all new to him. He is a person who is still trying to understand what I do. He knows what I do, but he's still learning as he goes. So sometimes we bump heads on certain things, especially when it comes to money. I like to spend. He's a saver. I like to, let's see, what's some things I like to do that he doesn't like to do?
So I heard from a Bluebird that you were also a perfectionist. And how does that impact your relationship?
I am a perfectionist, I can't lie. I'm OCD. So what irritates him is I'll go through the house, clean the entire house, better than a maid can. He'll put something down, I'll come right behind him and move it. He's like, where is this? Where is that? So it drives him crazy in the house trying to find stuff because me, I'm like, there's a place for everything. Like if I see clutter around me, it drives me absolutely insane. Now, the funny thing is I don't really cook, so I'm not even gonna lie. I have 3 dishes. They're good, but just 3. He knows how to cook, and he does all the grocery shopping. My sister said, that's a shame. You better feed this man. Now, my sister's a cook, so what's funny is she'll come over, like this past weekend, we were watching my nephew who was in the NFL Combine. We'll talk about that later. That's a whole nother excitement. My nephew's going to be the top pick in the NFL draft this season.
Hold on. So you say you are a perfectionist.
Okay.
Does that annoy him?
Yes, it does. It can be very annoying.
And how does that impact a relationship?
We go to our separate corners. So one of the things that we do, and we have a spacious home. So most people say, why are you guys in a 3,000 plus square foot home when it's just 2 of you? And he has no kids and I have no kids. So we're just a great single mature couple. But we have to have that space and not be on top of each other. So when he wants to go to his office, I don't even go in there. As I know he's handling business and it's kind of sexy. So when he comes out, then I like to mess with him.
So what is life like for you when the sun is not shining?
When the sun is not shining? Well,
What are your fears?
my fears is probably that I would, number one, that I feel like there's a lot more of me, well, let me start over. Some of my fears are that I feel like there's a lot more to do. I still have a lot of goals that I want to accomplish. So one of my biggest fears is that I don't utilize my potential to the fullest. Like all of the gifts I feel God has given me, I still don't feel like I've utilized them to the fullest. So it's like every year that passes, that's the first thing I'm thinking of. What things haven't I accomplished? So I put a lot of pressure on myself. The second fear is I used to want to have children. Now I kind of don't know if I want to have kids because I like life how it is, but a fear is if I look back like when I'm 60 and go, dang, I should have had kids. That probably bothers me on a regular.
Do you live with regrets?
I try not to. I try not to live with regrets, but I think there's some things you would do over if you had the opportunity. Like I would never do over my marriage. I'm glad I got married when I did because I learned a lot and made me the person I am today. But I think you can't live your life in regrets. I think you're gonna make mistakes. We're all gonna make mistakes. You just have to learn from it and not make the same mistake. So I feel like I finally got it right with my mate. Finally, after all these years.
So define your biggest flaw for us.
My biggest flaw, I think, is I'm hard on myself. I put a lot of pressure on myself to succeed. Like, I feel like I just did a movie and it's still not enough. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like I have so many things that I've done in my career, but in my mind, that's old news. Like, what's new? You know what I mean? So I put a lot of pressure on myself to do better or to do more. And I think sometimes I don't think I ever had a chance to like really sit in some of the great moments in my life and like think, wow, I really did that. Like,
do you still identify with the 13-year-old girl in you?
Sometimes I have to hug her.
Are you proving yourself to all those people that didn't believe in you when you were
I think I did that.
like you already?
I do think I've done that. Like,
Okay.
Are you doing that or have you done that?
I think I have already proven to the haters that I'm capable of anything.
Who are you proving to now?
Myself.
Okay.